What's dangerous is when the universe pick you and you put on the magic glasses. There's rules that go with them. You can never take them off. You never see things that they're supposed to be. You see things as they are. You never see things that they can never force nobody else to do. You never see things.
I think while I lie awake and contemplate tonight are wearing me out. Well, maybe tomorrow the world will wake and get it right, but I have my doubts, yeah. During the day, well, I design machines of war that scream through the sky. 'Cause I, for one, I like to go to bed free at night under these stars and stripes. And I have my doubts that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts, and I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. Yes, I have my doubts, but they'll wind you up and pull the cord until you're spun right out. And I don't understand. Roll the dice and raise the price to feed the machine's mouth. Call it the progress of man. And I have my doubt that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubt. And I have my doubt that we'll make it back out. I have my doubts, so I'll drink my stuff and raise some hell and shoot my guns to the end of my time. You can have the booze and go to hell and take the guns, but I know they won't be mine. Messed up and out of touch, let's text someone who's in the other room. So don't wonder why we don't say hi or know anyone. I might as well move to the moon. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. Well, the things I think, well, I lie awake and contemplate at night. Wearing me out.
Good evening. Hope everyone is doing well. I I wanted to start out with just a little bit of a reminder from history, talking about before we were even a country, a nation. The founding fathers and the people that were involved in the beginning of this nation, there were several things that they took issue with. Obviously, there are things like taxes. Obviously, the glaring thing is the right to bear arms. However, there are other things too, namely covered by especially the very first 10 amendments. There was something about religion, and I've heard it best described that it's not really freedom of religion, it's freedom from religion, which actually encompasses even more than freedom of religion. So freedom of religion means that you can be any religion you choose, and nobody's got a right to question it or condemn it or anything like that. Freedom from religion not only grants you those rights, but it also protects you, and that nobody else can force a religion on you. So that's why, from my understanding, that when you're talking about the First Amendment, it's not so much freedom of religion as what it is freedom from religion, which covers both. So I wanted to point that out. Now, there might be a lot of folks that don't realize that that was one of the things. What I want to talk about is Noahidism or Noahidism. And, well, let me bring it up and show you. Well, first, before we do that, I want to show you about the Founding Fathers. And this is an AI answer. However, I'm pretty sure it's pretty spot on. So my question to Google was, and yes, for the grammar Nazis, it should be were. What religion was the founders running from? And so the AI answer is the founding fathers of the United States came from a variety of religious backgrounds and traditions, including Puritan, Congregational, and Episcopalian. Some of the founding fathers were Unitarians who did not believe in the Trinity and were considered heretics by the Trinitarians. Others were deists who believe in a supreme being who created the universe to operate solely by natural laws. Some of the founding fathers who were deists include, listen to this, and let's go back over that again. Others were deists who believed in a supreme being who created the universe to operate solely by natural laws. Some of the founding fathers who were deists include Thomas Paine, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, Washington, Franklin, Madison, and Monroe. Okay? Here it says the founding fathers did not have a common religious tradition or an established church, and they fought for separation of church and state. They believed that Christianity could thrive without being written into the country's laws and founding documents. Okay? Yes, there are godlike values that the Constitution was clearly based on. Not Christian-like values, God-like values. I don't understand why people have to put a middleman there. Why put a middleman there? Here's the thing. Does a deist really sound to you like something that Christianity would be saying? Typical Christianity? Who was it? I'll ask again. Who was the founding fathers running from on a religious basis? Because there were things that they were upset about. And I know this, but I'm not a history buff. I know that there are things related to religion that they didn't want to go. I think Britain wanted to force one type or another of religion on them, or it might have been Christianity as a whole that Britain might have been wanting to force on them. I don't know. I don't know. But there was something, and they weren't good with it. And that is why that the first, religion is in the First Amendment, was because they were going through things that dealt with that, just like they were going through things with taxation, just like they were going through things with, them trying to take the firearms. So that was a real thing. That was a real thing. But there was also religious reasons why they were fighting back. I'm just not a history buff enough to know all the details. So it's Noahidism or Noahidism. Right here it says it's a monotheistic Jewish religious movement aimed at non-Jews, that would be us, based upon the 7 laws of Noah and their traditional interpretations within the Orthodox Judaism. Sounds simple enough so far, right? According to the Jewish law, non-Jews or Gentiles, us, are not obligated to convert to Judaism, but they are required to observe the 7 laws of Noah to be assured of a place in the world to come, Olam Haba, the final reward in the righteous. The penalty for violating any of the Noahide laws is discussed in the Talmud. If you're not familiar with the Talmud, maybe you ought to read it. But in practical terms, it is subject to the working legal system, which is established by the society at large. Those who subscribe to the observance of the Noahic covenant are referred to as Bnei Enoch, sons of Noah, or Noahides. The modern Noahide movement was founded in the 1990s by Orthodox Jewish rabbis from Israel, mainly tied to Chabad Lubavitch, a religious Zionist organizations. Now let me say this again. The modern Noahide movement was founded in the 1990s by Orthodox Jewish rabbis from Israel, mainly tied to Chabad Lubavitch and religious Zionist organizations, including the Temple Institute. Historically, the Hebrew term Bnei Enoch has been applied to all non-Jews as descendants of Noah. However, nowadays it's primarily used to refer specifically to those righteous Gentiles who observe the 7 laws of Noah. Noahide communities have spread and developed primarily in the United States, United Kingdom, Latin America, Nigeria, and Philippines, and Russia. According to a Noahide source in 2018, there are over 200,000 official Noahides around the world, and the country with the greatest number is the Philippines. Okay, so let's talk about this for a little bit. Right? But hey, I don't want anybody to think that this is just like me, or just a very small amount of people that, know a little bit about what's going on with this. Before we talk more, let me show you an article that came out today. Trump doesn't rule out cutting aid to Israel. What? What? Now Trump agrees with the protesters? No, people need to stop with all that nonsense. We need to start looking at actions, each independent action by each independent person, each independent time, as its own thing. Plain and simple. Anybody with any common sense can see what's going on at this point. And it does need to stop. It does need to stop. But there is something that's coming out, and I don't know if people are realizing this or not, but with all these colleges and their crackdown on all these protests, understand this. There's a reason that is happening, and it's probably not the reason anybody knows. The reason that is happening is because they have to. Many of your, and I believe most, if not all, of your public schools or whatever have Noahide laws written in the contracts and stuff. Like teachers can't protest against Israel in a lot of these colleges. It's literally in the rules. It's in a lot of the public school systems, not just like colleges. And then there's a lot of industry. There are a lot of private businesses that have actually signed on to this too. And that's the thing. When their employees sign, they're agreeing that they're not going to, for any reason whatsoever, protest Israel. That there is nothing that they can that can legitimize more or less their protest for Israel. And I'm sorry, but I have a bit of an issue with that. And I've had a bit of an issue with that from the time I first heard it, which had been over 20 years ago. So I've known about this for a little while. That stuff in the 90s, yep, I knew about it. I pay attention to it. I wasn't at that particular time a follower, a believer per se, but I remember all that. Oh, right on, Leo. Right on. Hope you're doing well, brother. I actually got quite a bit accomplished today. I got the grass mowed. Got the grass mowed. I got the spring cleaning started. So tomorrow's going to be a bunch of spring cleaning stuff. And I do believe I had to, with all the rain and stuff, it's been really wet here. And out back by the sheds, it literally gets waterlogged. And so it's probably just now to where there's no liquid water standing back there. So my hopes is over the night and somewhat in the morning that will dry out, because basically the floor in the sheds flood out too. So I got everything that I need to up off the ground, so that it's a non-issue. But I got to go in there and I've got to reorganize the stuff that's in there. And so I can get the heaters, the oil radiant heaters back out there, and just get stuff all reorganized. I'm decluttering a lot of a couple of different areas in the house, so should be pretty easy to get it all done. Should only take me 2-3 days, and my intent is to go through the entire house from one room all the way to the bathroom. So anyway, and do the spring cleaning bit. But anyway, Let's see what Trump had to say real quick, and we'll go from there. Headline is Trump doesn't rule out cutting aid to Israel. It says former U.S. President Donald Trump has refused to rule out withholding military aid to Israel to force an end to the war in Gaza. Once a stalwart defender of the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Trump now argues that the Israeli leader and his military have bungled the war with Hamas. In an interview with Time magazine published on Tuesday, Trump stood by his insistence last month that Israel should finish up its war before it loses any more international support. I think that Israel has done one thing very badly, public relations, Trump told the outlet, adding that he thinks the Israeli military shouldn't be sending out pictures every night of buildings falling down and being bombed. Asked whether he would rule out withholding or applying conditions to U.S. military aid to Israel in order to bring a war to a conclusion, Trump replied no, before launching into a scathing critique of Netanyahu. I had a bad experience with Bibi, he said, referring to Netanyahu by his nickname. Trump recalled how Netanyahu allegedly promised to take part in the U.S. airstrike that killed Iranian military commander Qasem Soleimani in January 2020 before pulling out at the last minute. That was something I never forgot, Trump told Time, adding that the incident showed me something. Netanyahu, he said, rightly has been criticized for what took place on October 7, referring to Hamas' attack on Israel. And I think it's had a profound impact on him despite everything, because people said that shouldn't have happened. Israel has the most sophisticated equipment, he continued. Everything was there to stop that, and a lot of people knew about it, Thousands and thousands of people knew about it, but Israel didn't know about it, and I think he's being blamed for that very strongly. Trump is not the first person to allege that the Israeli military and government failed to respond to warnings of an impending attack by Hamas, according to Israeli media reports. Multiple military intelligence personnel tried to warn their superiors that an attack was in the works, while Egyptian officials told the Associated Press that they passed on warnings to their Israeli counterparts in the weeks leading up to October 7. Trump was a close ally of Netanyahu during his term in the White House and described himself as history's most pro-Israel U.S. president. He imposed sanctions on Iran at Netanyahu's request, moved the U.S. Embassy in Israel to West Jerusalem, and brokered the Abraham Accords, which saw Israel normalize relations with Bahrain and United Arab Emirates, Morocco, and Sudan. Now here's the thing to watch for. Trump gets back in office, and I think there's a really, really, really good chance that that's what we're going to see. Trump gets back into office, and I think you're going to see him flip again and be a Netanyahu shoe kisser. We'll see. If I'm right, you know the gig is up. Seriously. If I'm right, you know the gig is up. I have a distinct feeling you're going to see the flippy flops. Just like Locker Up flippy flop, literally on Inauguration Day. Literally on Inauguration Day. I about died. Anyway, oops. I've got, let's see, 6 more tabs open, articles to discuss. Run through them and get some headlines done and get out of here. I'm actually kind of tired and a little worn out and sore. Pro-Palestine protesters arrested at Texas University. State troopers used pepper spray and stun grenades as they arrested dozens of pro-Palestine protesters camping at the University of Texas in Austin. At least 40 people were arrested on Monday, according to the Texas Tribune. Some students resisted arrest and were dragged by the officers, while others shouted shame and threw water at the police bus. UT Austin requested backup assistance from the Texas Department of Public Safety to protect the safety of the campus community and enforce our institutional rules, such as the rule that prohibits encampments on the campus, the university said in a statement. These are 10 standoffs between police and activists have been taking place in colleges across the U.S., where students are demanding that Israel end its war against Hamas in Gaza. Protesters have urged universities and the government to cut ties with Israel. Now, mind you, I just want to remind folks that Trump has much the same position on this for a reason. More than 800 protesters have been arrested on U.S. campuses since April 18, including more than 200 across 4 universities on Saturday, according to the New York Times. Man, big ass frog in my throat. Let me have a drink. Or, a guzzle. Hang on. All right. Better. Better. U.S. accuses Israeli army units of human rights violations. This is the U.S. U.S. government has determined that at least 5 Israeli units committed gross violations of human rights prior to the latest war with Hamas. But Washington has no plans to impose sanctions or restrict military aid to West Jerusalem. Funny how that works. Monday's announcement marks the first time Washington has leveled such accusations against Israeli troops. All of the allegations stem from incidents that occurred in the West Bank long before the Israeli-Hamas war began in Gaza last October. Interesting. All of the accused Israeli units remain eligible for American aid, despite a law prohibiting the U.S. from providing weapons or other assistance to groups that are found to have committed human rights violations with impunity. The Biden administration remains in compliance with the so-called Leah law because Israel has taken action against most of the units accused of wrongdoing. State Department Deputy Spokesman Vedant Patel told reporters in Washington without identifying the units by name. 4 of these units have effectively remediated these violations, which is what we expect partners to do, he said. As for the 5th unit, the spokesman said U.S. officials are consulting with their Israeli counterparts on addressing the abuses. We are engaging with them in a process, and we will make an ultimate decision when it comes to that unit when the process is complete. State Department offered no information on what actions were taken by the Israeli government. It's nothing but a shell game, and nothing's going to happen. I mean, come on, it's not the way it works. These people have no accountability. No accountability. Believe me, people in the religion game aren't deterred from doing evil things. If you think that's untrue, then ask the Lord knows how many victims, and just the Catholic faith alone. Just that one faith alone. And it's insane. It's insane. It's actually on a level that you have to look at it and ask some questions. And then to know that for the most part, they just shift these folks around. That's all they do. Shift these folks around, put them in a new place. And that's it. It's crazy ridiculous. And that's what's going on. It's a fact. It's been going on for, well, Decades is easy to say, but I would venture to say probably centuries, if not more. U.S. Congress threatens ICC over Israel arrest warrants, and I thought, well, this is interesting too, right? Because this goes the other direction. Republican and Democrat U.S. lawmakers alike have called for retaliating against the International Criminal Court if it issues arrest warrants for Israeli leaders over their roles in alleged war crimes against the Palestinians. We just covered an article about how the U.S. knows that they're doing it, and now they're trying to say, but we aren't going to do anything. Responding to media reports this week that the Hague-based tribunal will soon post warrants for the arrest of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and other Israeli officials, members of Congress have issued statements warning the consequences for any such step. U.S. Representative Brad Sherman, a Democrat, is among those insisting that Washington should retaliate for any attempt to arrest Israeli leaders during their ongoing war with Hamas. The ICC apparently considers warrants on Israeli leaders for legitimate self-defense, the 14-term congressman said. Sherman argued that such a move would turn the tribunal into a kangaroo court, adding President Joe Biden must condemn this, and I know Congress will ensure consequences for such an absurd decision. The potential arrest warrants that are connected to the ICC's investigation of alleged atrocities by the Israeli military and Palestinian militant groups dating back to 2014. Axios reported on Monday that Netanyahu had asked Biden to stop the ICC from trying to prosecute him or other officials in his government. Israel and Hamas, well, this just goes back to all the stuff in the past, but this is something that'll never happen either. Why? Because the game is rigged. It's been rigged for centuries. Centuries and beyond. Way beyond centuries. Batter up. Israel will invade Rafah with or without hostage deal, says Netanyahu. And this is the last one involving Israel. Thank goodness. The last two articles, nothing to do with Israel. Israel will send troops into the city of Rafah regardless of whether it reaches a ceasefire and hostage release deal with Hamas, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said on Tuesday. Israeli Foreign Minister Israel Katz had previously promised to cancel the controversial operation in exchange for the captives. Situated at Gaza's southern border with Egypt, Rafah is currently home to an estimated 1.4 million Palestinians who have fled the northern reaches of the enclave. Since October, Israel has carried out regular airstrikes in Rafah against what it claims are Hamas targets, and Netanyahu has threatened for months to launch a ground invasion of the city despite objections from the U.S. and UN. The idea that we will stop the war before achieving all its goals is out of the question, Netanyahu said in a statement from his office. We will enter Rafah and we will eliminate Hamas battalions there, with or without a deal to achieve total victory. Foreign Minister Katz had told Israel's Channel 12 on Saturday that Israel would suspend the operation if Hamas agreed to release some of around 130 Israeli hostages still in its captivity in Gaza. As Katz spoke, Hamas was studying an Israeli ceasefire proposal that would see fighting temporarily pause so that several dozen hostages could be swapped for Palestinian prisoners in Israeli jails. So, I think it's all just messed up in the head. Wow, we're running through tonight pretty quick. Fine with me. be anxious to get back up tomorrow and get back at it. And I got a bunch of stuff, like I said, I got to get the shed reorganized so I can get a bunch of other stuff out there. Can't wait. Can't wait to get this done. The dog's feeling better. She's glaring at me more often again. It's a good sign. I love that kiddo. Last night I actually got a little better sleep, and tonight I'll certainly get better sleep. So, but last night she was pretty much good all night long. As far as not getting up and scratching or needing to rub her ear, or because she does that now instead of scratching it, which she knows really does a lot of damage fast. She'll rub her ear when it bothers her, and she's not really been rubbing her ear since she got her medication. So, I'm gonna make some of that other stuff, that ear wash, antifungal ear wash, and I hope that'll do the trick from here. So anyway, U.S. poised to ease restrictions on marijuana in historic shift, but it remained controlled substance. Just wait until the last article. COVID vaccine maker admits it could cause potentially fatal side effect. Yep, I said it. U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration will move to reclassify marijuana as a less dangerous drug, the Associated Press has learned. A historic shift to generations of American drug policy that could have wide ripple effects across the country. The proposal, which still must be reviewed by the White House Office of Management and Budget, would recognize the medical uses of cannabis and acknowledge it has less potential for abuse than some of the nation's most dangerous drugs. However, it would not legalize marijuana outright for recreational use. The agency's move confirmed to the AP on Tuesday that 5 people familiar with the matter who spoke on condition of anonymity to discuss the sensitive regulatory review, clears the last significant regulatory hurdle before the agency's biggest policy change in more than 50 years can take effect. Once OMB signs off, the DEA will make public comment on the plan to move marijuana from its current classification as a Schedule I drug alongside heroin and LSD, and moves pot to Schedule III alongside ketamine and some anabolic steroids, following a recommendation from the Federal Health and Human Services Department. After the public comment period and a review by an administrative judge, the agency would eventually publish the final rule. So, we'll see. We'll see what they do. And this other one, well, I will tell you this. Was it this morning? Hang on, let me check my email. It was yesterday. Yesterday, I got an email. YouTube removed your content. Hi, the Watchman News. So nice. We wanted to let you know our team reviewed your content and we think it violates our medical misinformation policy. We know you may not have realized this was a violation of our policies. Oops. So we're not applying a strike to your channel. However, we have removed the following content from YouTube. And it was the show I did back on 8/14 of 2020. Whatever the hell that was. Right? Now, I'm sitting here and looking at this headline. YouTube, what are we supposed to do? I'm at a loss here. What the hell are we supposed to do? We tell the truth, and we literally get punished for it. It's ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous. I just want folks to know that mainstream media and society as a large part, or a large part of society, would have you think that you really need to jump and stand behind anything Israel. Folks, don't do it. Don't do it. A lot of people just need to honestly read the Bible and honestly listen to the Bible and pay attention to the Bible. And they would realize that they really should start, I don't know, loving their Messiah for one. I don't know about you, but I'm sorry, but I'm not going to cozy up and do everything I can to help people that were involved in the death of my Messiah and still denies him to this day. Yeah, I'm not going to prop them up above me. Sorry, I can't do that because I love God and I love my Messiah. It's a thing. I don't get it. I really do not get it. Oh, yeah, that reminds me. Something cool kind of happened today. I was outside mowing the grass. And I heard this loud ass rumble over the lawnmower. And I was like, damn, that's loud. And so I hang on. There we go. So I actually shut the mower off to see if what I was hearing was for real or not. And sure enough, and I was looking for it, and I figured what I was going to see was going to be a Stratotanker, a KC-1, dang it, what is it, 135? Stratotanker. It's a refueling plane. They fly in and out all the time. KC-135, I think, yeah, Stratotanker. And, well, I didn't see a Stratotanker. I didn't get a picture of what I saw, but somebody else from town here absolutely got a picture. And there were two of them. There's only one in the picture, and I only saw one. But there are multiple reports that there were two of them. And he dropped that picture from the guy here, lives here in town, his wife that took that picture, and that's what it was that I heard above me. So I thought that was really kind of cool, man. Really kind of cool. I did get the tracking, but it really doesn't say jack. Do I still have it, or did I get rid of it? Oh, man. I may have gotten rid of it. Oh, no. I didn't. Here it is. It's just that black line there. There's no information on the plane. It shows like the flight number is 296FE4. Right? That was it. So, anyway, kind of cool. Coffee. All right. Do some headlines and actually one up there. Let me share it out real quick. Alright, fun times. Cover that. Army helicopter crashes in northern Colombia. Russia allows hijabs for citizen application photos. Let's see. Covered that. EU TikTok ban not excluded, says von der Leyen. British sanctions falling to harm Russia, says UK MP. Failing, sorry. Russia defends traditional values which West abolishes, Dugan says to Tucker Carlson. Netanyahu asked Biden to block international criminal courts, says Axios. Actually, I think I read that one earlier. Let's see. Pro-Palestine activists take over Columbia University building. 1 dead, 4 injured in London sword attack. White House mulls Russian uranium ban, says Bloomberg. Let's see. U.S. diplomacy dwelling in mirror world, says Moscow. Let's see. EU sleepwalking into new dependence on Russia, says industry major. Ex-NSA worker sentenced for passing secrets to Russian agent. Trump fined for breaching gag order. Ukraine reveals number of draft dodgers who died fleeing the country. Nothing wrong with checking sexual orientation of state officials, says Russian MP. Czech police drop alleged Russian bombing case. YouTube failed to delete 60,000 requested videos, says Russian watchdog. Imagine that. Georgian police move in to disperse foreign agents bill protests. Russia ties embolden North Korea, says Pentagon. No duh. Let's see. Palestinians chase away German diplomat. Pro-Western party leader beaten by police during protest in Tbilisi opposition. Let's see. Report reveals number of Biden gaffes. And lastly, not a whole lot today. Human rights chief reacts to call for checking sexual orientation of officials. So I didn't pull up more news stuff. So I'll pull that stuff up tomorrow. So anyway, I am gonna get out of here and get some rest so I can get back at it again tomorrow. So I appreciate everybody coming. God willing, I'll see you tomorrow. And as always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.